Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I am doing okay. We're going to be doing How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Days, Valentine's edition again. We're going to try to make all 14 days this year. Last year I did not, but I'm hopeful this year. So, I have started a little bit of coloring already, but I want to show you what the image looks like already. I got these images from Etsy. They are larger images. I just sized them down for what I need them to be. We haven't did much. We've only started coloring our little gnomes' faces. And here we go. We're going to start up real quick and get the rest of their faces done. The good thing about gnomes in general is that when they are created, they only have, for the most part, nose, feet, and maybe a hand. I even made a little gnome on a scan and cut. I never printed it out. I need to get back into that. I have a few ideas that I want to do, but we have to see. And I think we'll just do two gnomes together. For the most part, the markers we're using are inexpensive discount store markers. They're called the Creative Expert, and it's 48 for 15 bucks, which I thought was a really good deal. Now, I did go alone by myself recently, maybe last week sometime, and I was so tempted to go into the stores to look for the 120 markers for that was $30, but I didn't. And if it wasn't so cold here today, that's what I was going to do. I was going to just not treat myself, but just go out and walk around and enjoy the sights, the quiet. But it's cold, very cold. And even though I do need to run some errands, because today and yesterday is 30 something degrees, but tomorrow's supposed to be 50, and then the next couple of days it's supposed to be like 70. So I am full aware that not Christmas, winter and fall and spring, winter and spring have days like this. It's super duper cold, and as things start to thaw out, um, I just want to be one of those things that thaw out. So I probably will get me some tea. When I was first living here, I went to the mall with one of my friends, and we went to this fancy tea spot. I think I've told y'all about this before. It's called Tavana, and it's a part of Starbucks, but they closed it down here. And from my understanding, they closed all of them down. They had loose tea. Now they sell them in some stores, the tea bags or whatever. And I I have a craving for the peach flavored tea. So I'll probably just buy some Liptons today and make some. I like cold tea. But it's a difference between northern tea and southern tea. Southern tea, they're like, okay, let's check your sugar. You definitely going to if you drink too many, you're gonna be like, ooh, that sure is sweet. It's real sweet. So I have to keep that in mind. Like this one chain store locally in the South is called Taco Cabana. I'm not sure for how I'm not sure how far up it goes, but it's called Taco Cabana here, and it's like a better version in some instances of Taco Bell. And I wouldn't say it's like a mama. It's not like your mama would make these delicious Tex-Mex meals, but they're pretty decent. This is the same color almost, right? 230, 231, 232. We'll see. But it's okay to go and eat there, and I always get tea when I get food from there. And it's always the tea always feel like they just made it, so it's not cold enough, but it's definitely you can tell it is southern 'cause it's sweet. Um, We had went somewhere. The family had went somewhere to eat, and I don't know where it was. Or maybe it was just me and the big roommate. We had went somewhere, and he was watching a guy make the tea. And he was laughing. Like the big roommate is very observant of strange interactions with people. You could call it nosy or very observant. Very keep your head on swivel type person. And he was chuckling, and I was like, "What's funny?" He's like, "That guy." I was like, "Oh, okay. What's funny about him?" He said he was checking a tea and he tasted it and he made a face like this not sweet enough, like it wasn't, it was subpar for the person that worked there's liking. And so he came over to our table, and the big one was like, "You ain't like that tea, huh?" And the guy was like, "No, it's not sweet enough at all. I don't know who made that tea." I told him, you need 3 containers of sugar for tea. And, sugar, from what I've used, the sugar that I grew up on, not any of the newer, fancier names. We always made the tea hot, poured the sugar in, or put the container sugar, then the hot tea so it could dissolve it, and then you could, drink it like that. Let's do their hair. So I thought this would be fun for us. I want to ease myself into this. I didn't want to, overwhelm myself going with a heavy duty project the first day. But I did prepare, mentally prepare, because I went and found the images, purchased them from Etsy. I'll be putting that person's shop in the description box after the video uploads. And her hair looks not vibrant. That's okay, we'll fix that right now. This is 102. So yeah, this is better. I always buy inexpensive markers because Copics cost so much, right? And so I had seen last week, and this is probably when I went on my little hangout by myself. Like I had the day to myself. The little roommate was with the big roommate. It was Saturday because I went to Hobby Lobby and to look for the Copic markers, right? And I just wanted to buy the package of markers. And I want to buy the skin tone ones because the skin tones are usually what we tend to need when we're coloring the girls and stuff like that. Here, of course, I couldn't find the skin tones; they were all sold out. And I bought a few individual markers, but I was like, if I could have bought, the ones in the pack, it was cheaper. They're cheaper than the. I'm just gonna turn it a little bit. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but trust me, I'm just lining this little lady up and coloring her. Um, but what was I saying? Oh, so when I went there, they didn't have them. They only had the individuals, so I bought the individuals. But you know, they're $2 a piece, which is still a good deal versus $8. $2 versus $8 is still a good deal. But when you do the math, it's cheaper to get the packaging. But if you're just starting out and you can get some $2 markers, go for it, right? Let me see if I can make this heart darker. There we go. These girls remind me of old school Smurfette, not the new one. The Smurfs that I grew up with on Saturday morning cartoons. The good Saturday morning cartoons, right? Back in the day, you wake up at the butt crack of dawn and you wake your parents up, or they say don't wake us up, sit your butt down, get your bowl of cereal, whatever the routine was, and you could eat and watch cartoons. So for me, as I am an only child, I will watch cartoons all day. Bugs Bunny was there. Um, all kinds of cartoons, right? Saturday morning cartoons. I think Tom and Jerry, and they all came on like regular channels. They because we didn't have cable, and cable really wasn't around when I first, I can remember. And then we had Time Warner cable. I think Time Warner is now Spectrum, but Time Warner cable was there, and we still didn't have cable. So it's like a few cable channels, cable companies, like two. It's always like two or three big companies. Now it's a lot, right? It's probably too many if you ask me. You have the cable companies, you have individual streaming services, and I think for me, that is annoying, right? So I was looking at something. It's this TV show called Poker Face that I think I would enjoy because the lady's voice is very, very unique, and I like her voice. I think her name is Natasha Levine. Levine? I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. And I don't know her from another thing, but I had looked her up to see if she had did something else. And again, I don't watch TV that often. So, but I think that I would enjoy watching that. And it's on Peacock. It's a streaming service called Peacock. And I'm like, how much is this? How does this work? What else do you get with it, right? Because like we have, we don't have it, but they have Paramount Plus, they have Hulu, they have Netflix, they have Peacock, they have Tubi TV, they have like everything, and some of them are free. You got YouTube, for example, if you want to watch YouTube stuff. And the thing about some of these streaming networks, they're streaming, and like you say, I just don't want commercials. That was the big thing back when I was younger. I don't want commercials, and I like that I could pause a TV show and I can just fast forward it on, when you can watch cable. But YouTube and I think Hulu, they still have commercials. So, it's interesting to see how we tend to go from one extreme to the next and we're still getting the same stuff. I'm just going to, oh, no, 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 no. It's too, I guess I didn't color it with this one. Maybe I did this color. I don't know. Nope. It was 230. Was it 231? Let's try 231. We're going to pull out a different color. I'm just going to grab one off my desk. Just trying to get in that white a little bit. And so what I think I'll do, this won't be a part of the series, but I will most likely um, get my thoughts together first. Um, cut these out and then scan them, not scan them, cut them out and then laminate them maybe. That could be a thing. So we're going to do deep orange for this hair. Yeah. I thought I had pulled out some purples, but I got distracted because the big roommate is awake making noise. My mornings aren't even sacred anymore. One day they will be sacred again. Very soon. I'm just going to put that in the atmosphere and pray. Okay. And now I'm just going to go over this with a light, 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 light pink Maybe not. Maybe I'll go over it with an orangey red. Light prawn. I don't even know what that means. Oh, this would have been good for skin tone. One day I'm going to take Heather's advice and swatch some stuff. It won't be this day, but one day. And I just print this out on a regular printer. Nothing fancy. I think it's an inkjet. I mean, but black ink really, you can't really go wrong with black ink. So we're going to do this a double coat. So it's going to have four coats, right? The original color, we did two coats on this one. And then we're going to go back over with the original color. I wanted to have like a light red color. I mean, I think we captured that. Let me just turn over so I can look at her face to face and she can let me know how she feel about it. Yeah, she said she feel good. She said I feel good with this. I've gotten back into like a routine of a mental health a crafting routine of like, yes, I really have a desire to create, 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 create. And so that's my goal is to do some creations. Not a whole bunch at one time because you can get tired. I know that I get tired of trying to just create, 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 and then I'm like, I need a break. Because when you're in a collaboration, even though it's a collaboration, you get like prompts and you know what you got to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It still can be, in my opinion, stressing. Not so much as like, oh, I can't cut the paper. I don't know how to do this. Just like, for example, Christmas cards, right? So Christmas cards, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of things you can make a Christmas card with. And every time it gets closer to the time, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I do like that, a lot of the hosts give us time frames because I am a put it off until I get struck by inspiration. And sometimes I don't get struck by inspiration, so it's forced. And sometimes I get struck by inspiration, I get it done ahead of time. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I don't like to put off my collaborations in the videos, but sometimes I'm just like, no, I don't feel it. Nope, not feeling it. Like I don't feel the inspiration. I don't feel um, the process of it. And even like when we do the snooze it or use it, it's so funny because Wonder and Dreamer and I are doing a collaboration, and she makes some beautiful things that whenever she does things, she makes it so pretty. And you never know where she's going with it at the beginning. Like she'll pop in and she'll have like, as an example, this has never happened to my knowledge. She'll have like three quarters and a lollipop stick, and you're like, what is she about to do? And then when you see the end result, you're like, I didn't see that coming. And a lot of people are like that. I have the pleasure of watching a lot of people create with sticks, metaphorically speaking. And I'm like, how did she? How? I'm like lost for words. And then when you see, you're like, oh, that's so pretty. I wish I could have thought of that. At least that's my thing. Like it's so interesting. She chose a key. Her use it was my snooze it, right, and her background is the thing that I envisioned, but just a little bit different. And when she finished it, I was just like, oh, I love it. I still feel like it's a snooze it for me, but it's really pretty seeing it in create being created. I don't like filled in stamps. I realize that now. I want to have the option to, not saying that all stamps shouldn't have, some stamps should be filled in. Like a lot of little fairy girls that you can cut out or stamp out in a solid color and just make a magical, whimsical background is really cool. I feel like we nursing this little girl's hat. It's splotchy though, so you can tell it is splotchy. So I'm just trying to color it in. It's so interesting the people that do draw and make these things. I'm not sure if they have like if they're on a digital device and they just have it where they can click buttons and fill in. But if you're coloring it, that doesn't work so much. Like I might try to do a fill in project and share it with y'all. It won't be like what we're doing now. We're gonna do our last little lady over here. And I think she wants to wear a different color. I had pulled out all these colors. I'm like, yes, no blues, no greens. We're not gonna do that today. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna stick with these reds and purples and pinks. But we're not. I think we're gonna try this blue violet color. I think. Yep. So I was just, I'm always shocked at her when she's creating. Not shocked like ooh, shocked like wow. Like that's cool. Very very cool to see. All right. So we're gonna use this 7502 on her hair. And again, I will put this person's Etsy shop in. I got 35 images for $1.50, I believe. Like Etsy is stalking me lately. Every time I log on to Etsy, it's like you like this, buy it. I'm like, no, Etsy, I'm not buying it. I purchased a few digital things from Etsy before, just because you want to give back to um, an artist, someone that's creating what you needed to create, etc., etc., etc. I just want to see. Yeah, let's see. I made this little gnomes. I guess we could have went with a black hair, right? But we didn't. This hair color works. And I got these markers because they had like a brush tip. I was trying to find the ones that I had got from Five and Below, which I think they were really good. They probably was too good for $5, and so they was like take them off the market because artists on YouTube I had looked it up were using them, and you can't have that. You can't have a professional artist saying it's good, right? Because it just takes the merchandising off, and people are like these are like this brand or this brand, and they got so excited. Everybody got so excited, especially people that follow those channels, and they sold out. And the girl I had asked her about them last year, I think. She was like, "We haven't seen those in a while." Sometimes you got to ask someone that looks like they've been working there for a minute versus not. Those two colors went on so smooth together, so smooth. And I'm not a very good blender, so I just color on top of the other color, which works for what we're doing. I did get some Dollar Tree items some pens, some fine liners. I feel like aside from them raising the prices, which everybody's like it's just a quarter. I'm cheap. I wanted it to stay a dollar, but I get it. I don't shop there that much anymore, but when I need to go there to get something that's inexpensive, I'll pop in. This thing is funny. And I don't say they stepped their game up because that sounds kind of. They have better products, right? In some instances, it's still cheap. $1.50 stuff that they're selling for $1 and a quarter, $3, $5. Like ever since I can remember when they first introduced the more than a dollar thing, like the $3, the $5, and does it go up to more than that? I think that like five and below, right? I remember when the big roommate was telling me that they're changing the name, not the name, they're changing the prices from more than $5 to like 10. I'm like, well, it's not five and below anymore. So they have like $8 items, $7. Cheap can't last forever, but I wish I lived in Connecticut again or just visited because they have the New England area, right? They have the store called the Christmas Tree Shop. It's like, oh, it's great. I enjoyed it. They had a nice. They didn't have a crafting section, but they had crafting things that they would get, and it's like a discount store, but it's huge, huge, huge. The one I live by, and then we also, when I lived in Connecticut, they also had this place called Ocean State Job Lots, and that was like a discount spot. It's like Ollie's. Um, but I think Ollie's was probably better. If I had to rank them, oh, mm-mm-mm. It's like Ollie's though. If you know what Ollie's is, Ollie's is like a big. The way they make it seem, it's like a warehouse, and they get like products, and they have them on the shelves and stuff like that. But eight Ocean State job lots smell like a warehouse. It smelled like um, tools. It had a very distinct odor to it. I'm just gonna get some of this blotchy out. And this paper is just 65 weight paper that I printed it out. It's Nina. I had got it online. Did I get this online? I don't remember. This man at the flea market a couple of months ago was selling paper packs, four for $10. Four for $10, y'all. I was like, "You have any of that white 110-pound paper?" And he was like, "No, but I had this." I was like, "No, I want the 110." He was like, "What are you gonna do with it?" The minute you show interest in a specific thing, people their ears perk up, their eyes get that twinkle, like, "Ooh, money." And so, I can't when I go to the flea market, I can't be too enthusiastic, especially when people don't know what they got. But I bought he was selling a ring, the boxes for $10 or something like that, $5, some crazy number. And I got two of them. And some people are the kind of people that just buy the truck. He was one of those people. I wish I had friends like that. Like I wanted to do a business venture with this person that the big roommate knew. And he was like, "Yeah, just write her a message." So I wrote her a message. She was like, "How you doing? Leave me alone." She didn't say leave me alone, but she was like, "I got some other stuff going on right now. I'll be in touch with you." 2 years ago. This was 2 years ago, y'all. She never got back in touch with me. I told him. He was like, "Yeah, she acting funny." I was like, "How you tell me to call this lady and she acting funny?" But anyway, um, I know I went out the lines. I'll probably end up fussy cutting these or getting the scanning cut and cutting it and then going back down over it. But this is our project for today. I want to say thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed just a regular chit chat. Until next time, happy crafting.